Greetings and good afternoon, and welcome back to the LPGA Tour of Korea, where it is Championship Sunday here in the mountains at the High1 Resort Ladies Open 2022. Far and away the best conditions we have had all week long, just in time to crown a champion. 25 degrees right now, mostly clear skies, the wind only 1.2 meters per second. No rain in the forecast today, and the humidity more than manageable. It is a fantastic backdrop, a fantastic set of conditions to crown a champion, and boy is it tight at the top of the leaderboard right now. Chun Yunji, she is 2 under for the day. Well, she will be depending on how this goes. The first putt from quite some distance away, and definitely in the mix at the moment. It was An Sun-ju who was the outright leader at the end of the day yesterday, but she is currently in a bit of trouble to start the round as we go to 13. So Yeon-jung trying to move to 7 under after a day to forget, a 76 yesterday, but look at this scorecard. 4 birdies and an eagle, just 1 bogey at number 2. And while she might have left it a little bit too late, she is definitely making a charge. And we'll obviously just have to wait and see how the round progresses, but all you can do is get your business done, and then it's up to those above you on the leaderboard. You never know if your performance could end in a playoff. As we go to 9, Kim Tsuji has birdied this hole every single day so far this tournament, but she is going to break that streak here. It moves right to left and rolls about a meter beyond. She'll have a downhill putt for par next. On to 10. Chun Ye-sung to move to 6 under par. Looks like it's online and has just enough to drop for her second birdie of the day. A bogey-free round through 10 as well. Has herself very firmly inside the top 10. And now Yuhei Ran at 7 under on 9. Just grazes the inside of the cup, but would not drop. Otherwise, she would be into a share of the lead at 8 under. Opening round of 67, then rounds 2 and 3 she was even. At the turn she is 2 under and very much in the hunt. And Kim Tsuji has her par. It is an even front 9, 36 on the way out. Well, from top of the leaderboard to moving into a share of the lead as that rolls around and refuses to fall. And already, just 4 minutes into our coverage, things have taken a turn for the dramatic. Go further up the course. On 9, 8 iron for Han Sun out of the rough. Lands this about pin high in the middle of the green. We'll have a putt back towards its left side. Jae Reem, also from the rough on 9, has not missed a green yet. Perfect in regulation. She'll have another in the accuracy column. nice and close, just a few meters away from a birdie. Well, everyone found themselves in the rough off the tee. Now Tsuji, our leader after round number 3, just will roll through that second cut onto the fringe. Undoubtedly, she'll be a bit disappointed with how she started this round. It was bogeys at 2 and 7. Yet to find a birdie today. As we move to 11, Hoda Bean, she is at 5 under par. As her first putt nice and close, we'll be able to tap in for a par. A 1-over round yesterday. She reaches the turn, and it is a 35 with birdies at 2 and 6, a bogey at 7. Needs to make up at least 3 strokes on this back 9. Well, as we look over the clubhouse into the mountains, let us get you up to speed on where we sit at the moment in terms of the LF Hazi's point standings. There's definitely going to be some volatility here at the end of this tournament. It is Yuhei Ren, Shihan Sol, Pak Ji-young, the top 3. Yuhei Ren is going to do nothing but bolster that advantage. It was nearly 800 points entering this particular event. Peng Min-ji was down 1 spot to 4th, EA1 in 5th, no movement for her. Lee So-mi up 4 positions, and Lee Ga-young and Kim Tsuji each dropping 1 spot into 7th and 8th. Respectively. Now the birdie putt from the fringe for Tsuji will get this closer and closer, but short. She has had 20 wins in a professional career. Looking for 21 on this Sunday afternoon. Gohan Ri going to have to fend off some pretty intense challenges on the way up and on the way in. Well, 60 players made the cut. We still have 59 technically in contention for this title. Ha-min Song had withdrawn from the tournament yesterday. Currently 28 players under par. And 12 within 3 strokes, if not in the lead. And Jin Sun is one of them. Unless she holds out, then she will temporarily occupy sole position of first. A pressure-packed putt, no doubt about it. Should be a little left to right, slightly downhill as it moves towards that leftmost portion, excuse me. She stands up as it fails to move on the way in. A narrow miss. So she'll have a tap-in par, out with a 35. And the final group, 2.5 hours from now, we will know who will become the 9th different champion of this event. Chung's 11th playing of the tournament. Let's go to 10 next. Everybody finding the fairway. Drives 209, 216, and 224 off the tee. They ran the first to play from the fairway. 3/4 of a swing as she gets this up. Where does it land? Not a bad position. She is the kind of player that can really trust the putter. The biggest thing, just getting herself on the green into the positions to execute. And now Jay Ream, she can join the leaders, and she does. So now there are 3 players at 8 under par. It is a 35, excuse me, on the way out. Now Kim Tsuji maybe feeling a little bit lonely relative to her competitions. With the exception of An Sunju, she has the highest round in progress thus far of those inside of the top 16. Just even. And speaking of An Sunju, this now the par save. Club's been working very, very well for her all week long. She'll be disappointed, of course, with the 2 bogeys at 2 and 7, but she reaches the turn and she is still level atop the leaderboard. Now Chun Yunji, fresh off of her bogey at 9. This is the approach shot down the hill over the sand. 5 yards off the front and right, the pin placement today. She'll be the furthest away out of her group, but everyone in that trio was in a decent position to putt for birdie. Now to 14. This is a very long uphill putt as she tries to move into a share of the lead. It's a good putt, but unfortunately she needed a great one. Well, as we reach our first break of the afternoon, this is how the leaderboard looks. Chae Reem, Han Chin Sun, An Sunju tied at 8 under par. Then So-Yeon Jung, Yoo-Hae Ran, Kim Tsuji, and Chun Yunji in a 4-way tie for the runner-up position. Chun Ye-Sung all alone in 8th at 6 under. Then Lee So-mi, Chae Young, Ko Chi-yu, EA1, and Ho Da-bin all jointly tied for 9th. Lots of golf to be had on just an absolutely exquisite day in Gangwon-do. We'll take a quick break and be right back out to course on this final round Sunday of the High1 Resort Ladies Open here in 2022. Welcome back. The first of the birdie opportunities coming off the face of Chun Yunji's putter. Comes up narrowly short, and she will have a short tap in for par. This is event 19 of the season, with 800 million won up for grabs, 144 of that set aside for the winner. Started with 120, the field is down to 59, but really only about 8 in contention. Chun Yunji is one of them. Bounces that up comfortably on, about pin high. All of this, of course, in the lead up to next week's major, another 4-rounder, the Hanwha Classic from Jade Palace. Has some late pickup as it moves to the inside of the cup and avoids a birdie. Team Tsuji will be settling for par as well as we go over to rejoin Hoda Bin just before the rough on 12, exactly 100 meters. She lands that ball just about 20 centimeters away from the pin. Will roll down towards the middle. Dropping to her knees in disbelief. That is how close she came. It was a brilliant, brilliant putt, but unfortunately it does not drop for her. Chun Yunji ever closer. Her miss is just to the right of targets. As a tap in par for her as well. 6 under through 11 now. Sunju missed the fairway to the right. She was pretty dialed in yesterday with that driver. And oversails this quite significantly. Needed to stay front right, and she ends up middle left. Some work to be done. So young too on the tee at 14. Cool. She have in store? This looks promising.
Yeah. Okay.
A bit more bite, but that is still in a really nice spot. Sun also from a similar position to Sunju gets into a better position, but still about 10 meters deeper than would have been ideal. Jay Ream, it's a 58-degree wedge that she's pulled out of the bag. It's the best shot of the lot. So of the three, she certainly will have the best look at a birdie. One of my personal favorite holes on the course, the 11th. The second on the back nine, the Valley course. very long distance. The 504 over half a kilometer is the longest on course, and it is a lightning bolt shaped hole. From about the midway mark, the ideal drive, you also get the benefit of a significant 10-meter drop downhill. Find that fairway, come up short of the water, and then attack the pin from there with the flag today, middle right. 19 of the 40 yards deep, only 4 yards from the right edge. Definitely sounds imposing off that driver, and it's into a great spot. She'll be more than satisfied with that. Everyone has played their drives and the march down the hill now as we go back to 10. And Sunju would take a minor miracle for this to finish as a birdie. She came awfully close. Hoda being at 12. More manageable, but still tough. Left to right and uphill. Stay straight as an arrow. Shin Sun averaging 1.89 putts per hole, stands up early. She knows this one's gone left. Talk about high degrees of complexity. That certainly qualifies. And Jay Ream, the closest of the bunch, just didn't hit that hard enough. Hangs it up a little bit short. First hole after the turn, it is a par for her to start this back nine. Her second at 11. It is still 230 meters to go. Not going to try and reach. Margins are too fine. She's going to play an iron to the fairway off to the right. And lands it quite comfortably. Earlier in the tournament with a bit more wiggle room, She's almost certainly going to try and reach. You can make yourself a hero with a shot like that, but it can also go the opposite direction and just tank your round before you can really get it started. Tsuji also comfortably into the fairway. As this Chae-Young at 15, her third at the par 5. Oh, exquisite. Chun Yunji, the deepest of the lot, uses that hybrid to find the fairway. Oh, this is the situation. 173 meters was the first two efforts. The tee shot, excuse me. Now she's left herself with just 63 to go on the approach. 93% GIR. Still a little pitch up. Lands and rolls about 3 meters from the landing point. Have a reasonable look at birdie. Giving you the look down the corridor, what it looks like from the animations perspective on 11, and now here's the full look at it. Talk about the zigzag, left off the tee, then right, in line with the two bunkers, anywhere from 245 and 210 remaining. The bold can try and reach. The conservative, well, they will lay up to the fairway to the right of the water and the sand. The pin today, mentioned, 19 yards off the front, 4 from the right. Just about everyone in the field, it should be 58 or a 60-degree wedge, high lofted, up and tight. Chae-Young will be the first to drive. She's had some difficulties with this club. 50% fairways in regulation. And she will just have enough to stay in the fairway and get a bit of an assist down the hill.
뒤에 좀 멈춰주세요.
Onto the side of her left foot. Nice follow through, and she will have the longest drive thus far. Delightful drive that was. Thought for a moment about rolling into the rough, but that too stays in the fairway. 3 nice tee shots for that group. Almost perfectly pin high for Kim Tsuji. An outside look at birdie with her next shot. Nicely in tight once again. She has been approaching the greens oh so well. From the fairway, the average remaining distance on her approach shots, 5.72 meters. That is the 7th best on tour. Birdied that 11th hole 2 of the 3 times she's played it so far. We'll have a look at a third. More accurate approaches. Landing that just off the front edge and rolling into a favorable position. Next will be Chun Yunji's approach on 11. It's one of her better ones in the last little while. Sunju. 6 or 7 years ago, she'd probably be trying to drive that, or at least play the wood over the water. Fades it cautiously into the fairway. With 2 bogeys already on the day, the last thing she wants to do is push this envelope too far. Decent effort, but nothing groundbreaking. Unfortunately, it'll be another hole with another par. Reem, bit of an uncomfortable lie as that ball is significantly beneath her feet. Low ball flight, and she just walks right out of that swing. Deals with the slope very well. Still in search of her first birdie since the 8th. The front 9 was absolutely electrifying, but starting to slow down a little bit. Another Another swing, another arrival in the fairway. That tilts away to the inside from a range at this point in the tournament. She is going to need to start to convert on if she wants a say in who will be lifting the trophy at the end. And the absolute finest of margins. Tsuji will use the backside of her putter to just tap that one in. Just on the front, but that always stayed true straight when she needed it to be a little bit left leaning. 12 holes down, 10 pars, 2 birdies, 6 under remains the score. And you hear ran for birdie. Tap to get it started. The weight was spot on. A 2-putt par. That is how she finishes this one. On birdie par birdie here so far this week. She is 3 under and 3 back. It's a short approach. Gets that in a very comfortable position where she will likely feel pretty confident that she'll be able to find a 3rd birdie. Misses for Tsuji. Calibration as she tries to slide in the short par. She's got it there. It is still all pars, first 11 holes of the round. That bounce, a little bit of a zip to stop in the perfect position. attacking that pin from the fairway. It will almost certainly set up a birdie, and it will almost certainly find a home on our highlight reel. Couldn't have asked for much more than that. The execution under pressure is something to behold. Han Sun, again, still perfect greens and regulation-wise, 77 meters out from the fairway, playing towards the trees and bounces off the edge of the fringe. Will roll to the back, and that will be something of a complicated up and then downhill putt. Putt breaks away immediately. Wondering how that came to be, no doubt. Swing on 2, 3 under for the day, 3 back still after her putter lets her down a touch. Sunju, nothing but fairway between her and the green. It's not quite as close, but if it stops there, that should still be a relatively simple position. I think she can make something out of that. And at some point, if she wants another title to her CV, she's going to have to start making those putts. In a 3-way tie with Han Sun and Che A. Ream on a simply breathtaking day here at the High1 Resort. During the end of our first hour of coverage, we'll step aside once again and be back momentarily for more from High1. Jay Ream reaping the benefits of a scintillating approach shot with the birdie at 11. Moves herself one step further up the leaderboard. Now Chun Yunji. Bounces that towards the back third. We'll have a slight rollback from the slope. Well, that was always headed left. Fortunately for her on that particular shot. This is definitely the part of the day where the nerves really start to take over. So as much managing those as it is managing your execution and managing your way up and down the course. A similarly well-struck approach shot for Yuhei Ran. It's a relatively shorter, should be a slightly easier look at birdie. Really, both of those approach shots are conducive to low scores. Tsuji, it is just rolled off the fairway into the rough. She's 113 meters back, 7.2 meters above the hole. Looking front left. Little kick back towards the stick. She has one of the loudest group of supporters this week. I'm sure there are many young and old who have been watching her career for a while and would love to see one more victory on tour. Would have increased her odds had she been able to make that. She will have to settle for par. Now from the opposite side of the green, this is working its way back online. Comes up about 25 centimeters short, however. Birdies are just hard to come by right now for everyone, as you might expect in the final round Sunday. Dropping to her knees as she was thinking for a split second that she was going to be celebrating a birdie. The golf gods, however, had other ideas for the results of that putt. Yuhei Ran needs that to stay right. Just dives to the inside, the final moment of the putt. Well, no bogeys out of the group, as you might expect for one of the last to play. Almost a perfect 50% conversion for birdie out of this particular threesome. Nice first tee shot.
플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
Unfortunately for Chun Yunji, since we've come on the air, she has not had the level of success that she had earlier in the day. Rocket off the tee and will continue to roll almost perfectly down the middle of the fairway. Tsuji narrowly missing. Her supporters as frustrated and disappointed with how that putt ended up as she is, no doubt. Dribbles its way back onto the green and will be about 2.5 meters. So often on these Sundays, we are following Peng Minji closer than just about anybody. It was her second round. That was really her undoing with a 76, a 70 yesterday. 1 under round in progress. Ran, who has pipped her on the points and is trying to close both she and Park Ji-young down on the money list, is on a very different side of the leaderboard. Speaking of Park Ji-young, this is her look at a birdie starting to move in. This might just go. No. If the level of difficulty was beyond veteran, maybe even Hall of Famer, she almost made it look like any other routine putt. She'll finish with all par since the 13th, a bogey-free round of 4 under, as she finishes, at the moment at least, tied for 13th, up 11 spots on the leaderboard. This is 13 with Chun Ye-sung trying to save par to stay within 3 of Jae Reem. Breaks away at the end, so she will be bogeying. And it's her first of the day and moving in the opposite direction from where she needs to be headed. Is able to work itself onto the green, but from still a pretty significant distance. And now Peng Minji for one last birdie. That ball had other plans for her. An even par 72 in this final round, and she finishes the tournament exactly even where she was when she started it all. Hopefully in this final round Sunday for her, she was able to work out some kinks, and you know she will be one of the betting favorites to win it all next week at the Hanwha Classic. Can't win them all, as much as it seems like Peng Minji might be that one exception to the rule.
여기까지 오겠다.
So Yunjung is ready to go with her next from the fairway. Lands and rolls to finish on the left side of the green. From the tee off to the left side of the fairway for Yuhei Ren. Don't let the smile fool you, that is a game face that she has on. And that any number of holes could be birdie as a result. Doesn't take very long for her to start to climb up the leaderboard. Take the tournament by the scruff of the neck. And Kim Tsuji almost the exact center. Nice start to the hole. Chae Young at 17, the penultimate hole. 128, the remaining distance from the fairway. Continues to roll ever closer. That should be a birdie. Fortunately, in the grand scheme of the tournament, it's a little bit too late for a push. Significantly shorter than that needed to be for Sunju. Sung remains perfect off the tee today on these par 4 and 5 holes. That was her greens in regulation, which makes the stat even more impressive as she tees off on the short par 3. Back to 12, Hunjin Sun for birdie. Currently in a tie for the runner-up position. Stay there. After this hole, she fails to convert. Nearly on the fringe. She had the line precisely where it needed to be. Another hole, another par. She's fading away, not to her own doing, but just can't keep pace with those at the top. And speaking of the top, Jae-Reem to get to double digits. It's been a tough score to maintain. An Sunju has seen it momentarily, but has not been able to sustain it. However, despite not coming up with another stroke gain, she still remains at the top. Lands that one in the perfect position, gets a nice roll on line for Yuhei Ren. Now An Sunju to avoid dropping another. She hasn't found many birdies today, but priority number 1, 2, and 3 is to drop 0 more shots down the stretch. She has 6 to go and stays 1 back. Very close quartered putt has gone missed. She'll be left thinking about that one all the way to the next tee. Kim Tsuji's approach inside of 100 meters on 13. Just off the fringe and zips to the right. Starts to move back more centrally and will come to rest level with the fringe. Jin-sun, slow roller to drop that to the bottom of the hole, 8 under through 12. Also narrowly, comes up short. Starting to see a little bit more visible frustration. So we take a look at the par 4 13th. Rather notable uphill, 303 meters is the distance. Two separate sand traps to the left side of the fairway just before the green, and then the long oblong one just off to the right. The distance is going to be very, very important. Don't want to blow through the fairway either, find yourself in the rough. It is 22 meters down the hill, so 1,031 meters above sea level is where the flag is, and its placement today on Championship Sunday, 16 yards off the back, 8 yards from the right. It will just roll its way onto the left side and off into the rough. Back to the tee in a moment, but first, Kim from Tsuji from the fringe for birdie on 13. To get that pretty high up the hill, knowing that it was going to drop back. Considering we had a near washout on Friday, the course is playing predictably, difficult. Nobody's really been able to quite master it yet. Tee shot will do just fine. Thank you very much. Very well worked, well deserved. And within one now, her third birdie of the day and her first since the 8th hole, when she's got the swagger and the strut as she walks off the green. That is a warning to everyone else. And Chun Yunji watching every millimeter of that putt, looking perhaps for a bit of inspiration. She unfortunately could use it. Let's see if any of that luck rubs off. Yes, just, but it does fall. This is a tricky one that needs to be pushed to start. On its way back down, but it's going to dive early, also run out of speed. Is on the green, but there is a whole lot still to make up for Sunju. Think about the history of this tournament, and for so many years, that would have been a 3-event competition. 2008, 2009. 2014, the year China now had won, and 2018, the last time it was only 3 events. 2010, Shine won with the 7 under through 2 rounds only. But if it were still a 3-rounder, then Sunju would indeed be champion. Jae Ream's approach from the rough, only 88 meters still to go, needs to climb slightly. She landed it in a decent position had it stopped immediately or had the backspin to slow it up. Very difficult long putt back up the hill next. Now you hear Ren's tee shot. And you're only averaging 4.6 meters. And you haven't missed a green on these par 3s. You know you're playing on a almost unmatchable level. So find the fringe, but still might be able to make something with that. So many for so long have been trying to pick up the birdies. Yuhei Ren was able to find her third. She is level with Chae Young at 3 under for the day so far. So-Yeon Jung, the best rounded progress of anyone by a mile, on pace for a 67 in the final round. Starting to really come down to just 5 players as we are into our second hour of coverage and about an hour away from learning who will win this title, unless we need a playoff once again on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Don't go anywhere, quick break, and then right back out to High1. Well, we return to the course on 13 as Chae Reem looks to move another stroke clear. It's a valiant effort. Not enough final distance. The door slightly for Yuhei Ren. A tricky putt from the fringe, but this would take her to 9 under. She too comes within centimeters of holing out. Now on Sunju at 13. She's been desperately seeking this birdie. Her miss, unfortunately, to the outside. Tsuji on 14, one hole further forward to take her to 8 under. Starting back online, if it had the speed, it might have been there. However, it will come up short. Chin Sun, she too can move into a share of the lead with a birdie. Straddling this slope. Oh, that's a great looking putt. It is indeed perfect. 4 holes between birdies, now 3 since the 6th. And throwing her hat back in the ring, saying, hey, don't forget about me now. Chun Yunji just trying to keep any kind of pace with the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, it's another green that does not want to cooperate. And Sunju, that might just be the end of her push for the win. Such a stark contrast from yesterday when it seemed like she wasn't missing anything. Drives, approaches, putts. She was all locked in, and it's just unfortunately dissipated when it matters the most. That is now 3 bogeys through 13 holes and an absence of birdies, notably from that scorecard. That is a par secured on 14, 4 to play for Yuhei Ren. Reem, 5 to go. And starting to feel very confident, you'd have to think. Tsuji about 1.5 meters to record this par. This is 18, the tee shot that comfortably finds the fairway. So Yeon-jung needs a birdie and some help. She'll need to rip up her past form on 18, where she has bogeyed it each and every time she has played it this week. And if she doesn't hole out, you can scratch her name off those in contention as well. Han Sun, her tee shot of the par 3 14th. Is in a pretty good spot. Kicks to the left, unfortunately, when she needed it to head in the opposite direction.
네, 하겠습니다.
What a shootout we are in for through the final few holes in this group. She too is headed left.
동료 세게 나와 있다.
Still a good chunk to make up, and that is unofficially the end for her opportunity, but take nothing away from her final round, where she really turned up the pressure. Lots of positives to take note. Speaking of positives, Hoda Bean at long last returns to the birdie column, her first since the 6th hole. Birdie in her final 2 holes, and never say never. And we found the success across the globe in so many different environments like she has. It's like water off the back of a duck, the pressure. So narrowly close, and unfortunately, 4 straight rounds with a bogey at the last. Puts a damper on an otherwise brilliant day that saw 4 birdies and an eagle. So she finishes with a 68 in the final round for a 6 under, tied for 7th. And it is down to 6, really, unless Hoda Bean has some magic on the way in. Hanshin Sunche Reem there at 9 under. Yuhei Ran can't count her out either. Quick break, and we will return to the High1 Resort with more players starting to finish off their rounds and the picture of contention becoming sharper and sharper in focus. it's getting down to crunch time when the leaderboard narrows like that. 6 names left on it. And Sunju had been there for a while, but she needs some birdies here with the rest of the field pulling away. She's not doing herself many favors, unfortunately. The approach shots being that far out. Yuhei ran her tee shot on this par 5 15, found the rough with 219 as she tries to fade it through the rough and back into the fairway, but she has compounded a mistake with another mistake, unfortunately for her. Rain will not be picking up. Any more ground? Tsuji looks on pensively. You can hear the happy shout from across the course. No spoilers, but we have a birdie coming up soon. Might it just be Hanshin San? Looking increasingly, yeah, okay, fine, we know. It was that one. 10 under, back-to-back birdies now, 4 on the day. Picking a very good time to crank up the pressure on the rest of the field, playing some exceptional golf, especially that putter is proving to be magical. Nice advancement into the fairway as we head back to the greens on 15. Chun Yunji to get to 6 under. Up the hill, slowly back down it, and almost teeters over the edge, but stays out. Three to play and 5 off the pace. Short roll in for Che Reem. Once again finds herself chasing to no fault of her own. Ju rolls in her short par. And from the left side of the green back towards its right, unfortunately. Not to drop for EA1 on 18. This is your aerial tour of 15, the final par 5 of the round. 10 meters up from the tee. Into the fairway, anywhere around 235 and 210. Average remaining distance from there over the next fairway, across the bridge through the tall grass, and land in between the 2 bunkers to the left, the 1 pot bunker from the right. Then just a short approach up from that position, needing to stay very close to the front of this green, just 6 yards off the front, slightly more left than right, but that's a very good display of how much it drops, almost like a crater to the front right. 87 birdies here all week long, 221 pars, only 35 bogeys or worse. This is a hole where some ground can be made up. Grip and a rip. That'll settle in towards the right side, but comfortably into the fairway.
멈춰주세요.
Bounds once and twice through the fairway into the rough from Jae-rin. An approach that does find the front. It's pin high, about 11 paces to its left, however, but Yuhei Ren will have another look for birdie. More groups finishing this EA1 on 18. In with a 36, out with a 34, 3 and 4 birds in this final round for the leading rookie throughout the season and the leading rookie in this event. She is in a tie for 12th as she exits the course. Also, shout out Coach Yu, who was level with her step by step at the same score. Another good performance from the rookie despite her putter letting her down on Friday. Well, it remains a beautiful day out here. 27 degrees at the moment. Wind picking up slightly right now and just cooling everybody off. It was foggy this morning, but broken skies now. Visibility, as you can see as we look over the mountains, technically 5 kilometers, but it seems like it stretches on forever. Just very, very fortunate conditions for this final round, considering where we were just 48 hours ago or so. Crunch time for Yuhei Ran with those above her. Making up some ground. This would be an improbable but massive birdie. Don't think she would have had the line even if she had that little bit extra. Tsuji is strutting down. She pointed right as soon as it was released. That's never a good sign, but Sometimes that works out, you know, the cart path. Unfortunately, though, for the 20-time champion, it didn't on this occasion, as that leaps into the OB range. She prepares for a drop. Here is Chun Yunji looking for a birdie. Some serious left to right, and you can see the relief for her as she watches that one deliver. Just her third birdie of the day and her first since the 8th hole. Something of a rare display of emotion, but you can't fault her for it. Stretch has been a bit of a struggle. Now Kim Tsuji trying to find a bit of zen right now. Needs every last factor in her control. After this, she'll only have 3 holes to play, and she is 3 back. For birdie on 15. She's got it as well. That's an emphatic, can't count me out just yet. Hear the applause for Kim Tsuji in the background as J.A. Rain addressed her ball. A little bit chunky. But it will work out for her down into the fairway. Now Yuhei ran for her par. Easy one in retrospect. Sun, one of our leaders, addresses her ball, also cuts that across, looks good, and matches the eye test.
멈춰주세요.
She has her drop in line with where the ball goes out of play. It's now the 3rd for Untitled, 218. Darts across the fairway into the rough on the left side. Number 5.
플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요. 거기 뒤에 좀 멈춰주세요.
As the viewing parties increase, the calls for quiet become more impassioned. Takes a good divot with her. Stops in a pretty solid location. It's too little too late in terms of the title, but Tsuji wants to avoid more bogeys down the stretch. Needed that one in close and does precisely that. To go on this approach. Seems to be great contact. Just picked up a little bit of velocity. Only landed that centimeters off of the fringe. She's the furthest back. Has never won an event on tour. J.A. Reim, 3 occasions she has finished as the runner-up, including this year, the Jeju Samdasu Masters. Might this just be her year? She has some work to do, but she'll be playing in the same group as the leader all the way in, so she'll always know where she is. Starting to really heat up and get exciting on the way in to the title. This 11th High1 Resort Ladies Open, nearing the end of the second hour of coverage and about 40 minutes away from crowning a new champion of this event. Quick pause and back on the other side as our final round coverage continues right after this. Jin-sun looks on as Jae Reem once again tries to join her on the top step. Too much of a snap to the right at the end. Currently ranked 131st in the world, Jae Reem. She had been the 54-hole leader at the end of round 3 before Chi Han-sol pipped her at the end. Yue ran okay. Not to be counted out just yet. Brilliant little effort on the par 3 16th. Now Han Jin-sun for birdie. That too sees a big time break to the right. So no pars to be found from either. Definitely going to see a big jump in the points in the money lists. Oh, that will be a little consolation if she can't get to the finish line. She wants this victory. 37th with 130 million won earned this season. The win, and she'd more than double that, just inside of the top 30 in the points on 114. Sunju, that was online if it had a little bit more. It's just unfortunately been one of those Sundays. Still 4 over. Over to 16. Chun Yunji, 14th on the money list thus far this season. Decent haul of points as well, 168. 21st on tour. Let's head back to 18. .71 meters remain. The tee shot before the water. The approach missed the fairway to the right. Now Hodabin. Bit of a predicament here. It's a pretty good escape. She's going to have her work cut out for her as she tries to find a par at least to avoid dropping to 5 under. She's currently in a tie for 6th, which would be her 5th best result of her career. Now Kim Tsuji for birdie. She had a massive make at the last. Only just avoids another. Doesn't think it's quite close enough for a tap-in. She'll mark and wait her turn. Born in 1997. Turned pro in 2016. Already mentioned 37th in the season-long prize money. No wins on the tour, though she has had 2 on the Dream Tour. Just 24 years of age. Now, Chun Yunji trying to save par. She had such an expressive celebration when she had her birdie at the last. It's a more subdued fist bump. Winner already on tour. Woke up this morning thinking she might have been able to add another to her resume. She had won the 10th E1 Charity Open at the end of May. She's still not out of it, but
핸드폰 좀 모음해 주세요.
needs at least one birdie in these final two holes. Yu-Ren, well, she is out of the top three. That might have been a mistake because she has this for birdie and is now just one back, so we can stretch that leaderboard back out. Shockingly, for all the success she's had this season, has not won an event since April when she took home the honors of the Nexen St. Nine Masters. And Kim Tsuji, the 66th ranked golfer in the world, a two-time winner both in 2021. Trying to improve upon or at least equal her best finish of the season when she finished as the runner-up at the Lotte Open. Rabin, it was tied for 17th last week. She'll be inside the top 10 this week. For just the second time this season, she too saw some moments, some opportunities slip away today. It's a 71, her second lowest round of the event. It was an unbelievable 67 to start the tournament off. She'll be able to find 11 under, barring a complete and utter collapse. Not to put some curses on that. She is seemingly handling the pressure extremely well and doing it with a smile on her face. 9 birdies here today on this par 3 16th. So this almost like a surprise with how many we've seen this season. We haven't seen a hole-in-one this week. We've seen just about everything else but a hole-in-one. It is 7-iron for Yu-Ren. She's going to get a bit of a lucky kick from the fringe back down onto the green. She'll be putting before she watches Han Chin-sun, who still has an ear-to-ear grin on her face, as she should. She will be putting before she will. On to 17. Blasted off the driver of Yu-Ren. It's been interesting to watch her average drives fluctuate this week. 239.5 the average, down 10 points from her season average in round 1. Round 2, when it was one of the trickiest conditions, she was right back on to 248 and then 239 yesterday. But she is definitely one of the most exciting drivers of the ball to watch on tour. And she's one of the most exciting to watch in this event. One back with just a couple of holes to play. Might she have her second title of the season? It would be win number 6 of her career. 2021 last season, she was able to win 2 events, the SK Shield S SK Telecom Championship, as well as the Chosun Pro Celebrity Tournament. Looking to add a second jewel to her crown for this season, and we are getting very, very close to finding out if she will be at least able to force a playoff. Welcome back. First of the putts in this group, starting off on a good note. And Ye-Song, just her third birdie of the day, takes her up to 6 under with the 18th and final hole still to come. One hole further back on course 16. Every stroke, every putt magnified, especially knowing that Hanjin Sun has probably a 95% probability of a birdie immediately following this putt. Starts it where it needs to. As it comes around, it just runs out of speed. Converts on her par. And it is 9 under through 16. Approach shot on 17. Needs to hit the brakes. It does not want to comply, rolling all the way off to the back. It's been the best season of her career, no doubt. A win and a tie for runner-up in the 2022 NH Investment and Securities Ladies Championship. She has been inside the top 100 in the world briefly this season. Back at the end of May. Iran, well, she is much more consistently up there. 41st is her current ranking in the Rolex. 31st, her best of the year. She's going to improve upon last week's tie for 13th. Prior to that, events 31 and 29, both inside the top 5. She has 11 top 10 finishes this year, which is pretty impressive. She hasn't always putt well this week, only 27%. Her first putt conversions. Oh, maybe I'll take some of the credit for that, Jinx. She wouldn't have secured the title or put this thing to bed, but she would have done a lot in helping her get there. Putter lets her down again, and unfortunately she's missing that smile that had been plastered on her face for so long. Well, that opens the door for Kim Tsuji. Needs at least one birdie in the final 2 holes. The approach, 125, slows up, but she's going to have to work for this one. Heading to the back, her supporters chanting for it to stop. It will, just before the downhill fringe. And this is the same distance, if not slightly further back, all of a sudden, for par. Needs to put the miss behind her. Should be a little bit left to right. She's able to recover. She can be disappointed, but she's still in sole possession of the lead. She and her caddy sharing a laugh and some anxious murmurs in the crowd. We just saw a few approach shots here at 17. Let's give you the full tour. A significant drop of 44 meters down the hill from the blocks to the fairway. And then from there, a 10-meter climb. With the pin today 7 yards from the left and just 15 from the back of this green, right over the sand. Almost a straight line from that left jut of it. You can see from the back it really slopes away. Being slightly short isn't the worst. And here we go, Che Ream from 1,112 meters above sea level. Some noise in the background. And The caddy does his job by reminding everyone for some silence, please. Jay Ream resets. Now the only sound, the insects around the microphone. Blasted. Excellent drive. Well, that did even roll a little bit more down the fringe and into the rough. Chun Yunji gets herself up close. All her slash, 16 of 16 greens in regulation, but the stat that's been giving her a few headaches, including at the last hole, 1.86 putts per hole she's averaging. A birdie here in round one, pars Friday and Saturday. Later tees off, and that's a very confident drive. Slightly in behind of Che Reem, but both in the fairway, if anything slightly off center to the left, but we'll have good looks at the green. This green, where we find Tsuji next. Trying to visualize the putt. She's ready to try and execute. Slightly started to the inside and couldn't quite come back in time. Tsuji, the tap in, a par, and two back heading to the last. Look at the ever-growing line of spectators. Just two more par fours to go. If we need a playoff, we'll head right back to the tee at 18, which would make for a very juicy playoff, I might add, with how challenging it's played all week long. Jin-sun, Jay Reem in the fairway at 17. Yuhei Ran on the green at 17 and one back. For share of the lead. Just a little tap to get it started. That's going to miss the outside narrowly. One more look at it. It was always moving right. She needed it to come back. It started to, but not in time. This isn't an automatic putt for par either.
자, 이제 플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
예.
예, 멈춰주세요.
For her, right to left. For us, a slight left to right. As her par heading to the last, within one.
멈춰주세요.
Well, she's 2 off the pace, a par here and a birdie at 18, and you never know. Has to take care of business on 17 first, though. It's taken care of. 71 holes down. In a good position, absolutely dialed in. Now with the green open. A green light. The trio in the fairway. And Jin-sun will be the first to play. Early returns are positive. Well, she's going to be right back within that similar range. Calling it excellent, calling it exceptional, almost seems like it's not doing it enough justice. Especially that missed birdie can really shake your confidence. That's seemingly not the case with Jin-sun. Chun Yunji with the wood over the water. Trying to find a piece of that rough. She is able to drive it into. Yesterday, that would be only 4 or 5 meters away from a birdie with where the pin had been placed. Today, a bit deeper, significantly deeper, only 12 yards from the back of the green.
핀도 뒤에 있어서 편하게 쳐라.
응. 해저드까진 절대 안 가잖아.
가볍게 치면 절대 안 가. 자, 이제 플레이하겠습니다. 다시 멈춰주세요.
It's quite the contrast. Par 3s, 4 under for the week. Par 5s, 5 under. Par 4s, though, only even. Aaron will be thinking ideally it is 2 shots with this club, 1 with the putter. Needs this to be good. And unfortunately, she's headed off into the trees. Hopefully, for her sake, she's not in behind one. Otherwise, that might be her bowing out of the tournament. especially with Hanshin Sun in another position to potentially pick up a stroke. 9 under will be the bare minimum. It's 123 meters for Jae Reem. She'd love to order up an approach just like the one we had just seen. Not quite as close, but still very, very nicely played. Well then, in just a 30-second window, things can change. Yuhei Ran hooks it a bit into the rough around the trees, makes birdie very improbable unless she has an immaculate recovery shot, which means this is quite likely down to the final group and quite likely a dance to the end between Hanshin Sun and Jae Reem. It's been an absolutely exceptional, very exciting final round Sunday. We hope you're enjoying it as much as we are bringing it to you. We'll step aside again just for a quick break and then back to finish off 17 and have some tee shots on the 72nd hole for the Group 19, where the champion will likely come from. Well, here we go. We are into pressure putt territory. Jae Reem, nice swooping bird. Up to 10 under. Challenge issued. How does Hunchin's son respond? That is a champion caliber putt. She's trying to take care of her own business, and she's so dialed in, so focused, she's not even sticking around to see if this one is going to drop. She'll hear the reaction, either an "oh" or a round of applause. Some break on this, but not enough to take her off of her rhythm. So she heads to the last with the advantage of one stroke. A par will guarantee at least a playoff. How does she dare let herself start to dream of her first win? This is where we are headed. Chun Yunji. Look at this, come so close. Just runs out of speed. She finishes the tournament with a 70, 68-75 in the first two rounds. Put herself in a very good position. Just comes up a little bit short in this championship round on Sunday. Tsuji's approach down to the green. Nicely struck, and will get a decent little roll down. Just goes to prove the challenge that exists here. With the water off the tee, obviously you got to take a little bit off of it, and as a result, with the deep pin, makes birdie almost impossible here. Yuhei Ren, she needs maybe her best shot of the day as she escapes from the rough. Is she going to get onto the green? Just. But she has at least a 28-meter putt for birdie that she has to make to have any chance, unless a double bogey and a bogey from those around her. Chun Yunji down and onto the green to its right side. Well, that is how it looks on 18. Only 9 birdies all week long. 4.372. The average score on this hole in the lead up to round 3. And only 2 birdies today. That is how difficult it's been, and that is good news for that young woman. How easy it would have been to throw in the towel, but
알겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
to feel discouraged after missing a relatively easy birdie.
네, 알겠습니다.
She deserves all the credit for being able to mentally reset. You can hear 414 meters away, players being announced onto the green. That will be Hanjin-san in just a few moments. Just needs to play this safe. And it could be enough. She'll roll all the way down to the edge of the fairway. That will give her a good chance to play the wood into a position that could just set her up for the win.
카메라 소리 좀 안 나게 해주세요.
Just about here, pin drop up in the mountains. Jae-ring needs to be perfect, needs to be excellent, and get a little bit of help. A bit more shallow with that drive, but she is in the fairway. She was able to recover and find a green in regulation. 22.6 meters. Needs this to have any chance at a playoff. Look at this. Wow, what a putt. It won't be enough, but it'll be almost certainly her third place finish of the season. Another good haul of cash, another good haul of points, and zooming out a little bit, not just from our focus on this week, but thinking about the Hanwha Classic. She will be in absolutely incredible form as she tries to win the first major of her career. They come to the inside of the incredible support of Chun Yunji. It is on its way. Comes up short. Well, considering that she was middling for the most part last season, in this event she finished tied for 26th. A par, and she will be inside of the top 5 to finish. Be the 11th top 10 of Chun Yunji's career. We will have a first-time champion out of these two. Marching down the fairway in order of where they are in the table. Let's go back to the 17th to see the putts that set this up. Jae-ring. She was a co-leader for about a minute after she made that tricky birdie, taking her up to 10 under And then after missing a birdie opportunity from closer than this on 16, and Jun Sun probably feeling as much pressure as she ever has in her career to date. Really takes her time, locks herself in and delivers. First player all week to reach 11 under. A par means she's guaranteed at least a playoff, but quite likely the victory. Tsuji sees that dive across to the left. Would be the 21st top 10 finish of her career. Definitely improving upon where she finished last year, though it was still a good performance, tied for 13th. Chun Yunji, oh, that's an unfortunate way to end the tournament. Misses her par, finishes with a bogey, a 71, 7 under. Sole possession of 5th in this event, with a 71 in the final round. The same score she had posted both Thursday and Friday. Making sure she's doing everything properly as she takes her relief from the sprinkler head. And just patiently waiting. Can only imagine the thoughts dancing through her head right now. She was tied for 4th at the 36th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship, excelling in the major. And she's on for another 4th place finish this season. 3rd time on the year she's inside of the top 5. A bogey-free round of 71 with her birdie on 15. Does 8 better than where she had gone at this event last year. And looking to excel at Hanwha as well. Jade Palace is going to provide its own unique challenges, including a fully stocked field. Ran finishes with a par, 68, her 2nd best round of the tournament, 9 under. Another podium finish on the season that has seen so much from one of, if not the best in the country at the moment. 4th of the Jeju Samdasu Masters, tied for 4th at the Hoban Seoul Shinmun Women's Classic. Tied for 3rd at the Table House Tea Open, 3rd at the Kyochun Honey Ladies Open, tied for 3rd to open the season, and the win at the Nexon St. Nine Masters, and those are just the podiums this year. That's how good she's been. Jae Reem She was the runner-up at the Jeju Samdasu Masters. Seemingly increasingly likely that she'll be finding another P2. So close, but yet so far to that elusive first victory. And Sunju has the unfortunate honor of having the second highest, or third, tied for third highest round of the day. Definitely the highest round of anyone inside of the top 25. Just didn't come off for her today. Looking to end on a high though. This is starting right. Needs to get back. Almost ricochets off the scoreboard and finds the rough at the front right. Well, in terms of tee shots, it would be almost impossible to play it better than this. Right to the very end of the fairway, 197, the remaining distance. Get it on, try for the back. That is the mindset here. Going for a little bit extra power, heads to the right side, and she should feel comfortable getting there in two. And it is almost impossible to keep a smile off of her face as she heads down to the green. A look from behind the putting surface, tracking this ball all the way in. While we wait for them to reach the green, let's go through some of their highlights of the round. This was 6. Less than 2 meters to pick up a bird. It was her first of the day, eliminating that bogey from the 4th, then on 8. Second par 3 of the round. Tracking that all the way in and will be ecstatic. That would end up, sits up in a good spot, 2 birdies in a 3-hole window. And would you believe there was more birdies to be had out of this group before the end of the front 9. Jae Reem would have her first on the 9th as she goes out with a 35. And Jae Reem early on the back. A bounce and a little zip on 11 to sit up perfectly. And she there would record her second birdie of the day. Moving on to 13 next. This is when you started to think it might just be a very special day. There was a bit of a lull between birdies, but she picks one up in emphatic fashion. And there'll be more from distance. Left to right, uphill, and making it look far too easy to go back to back. And on 17, just about 15 minutes ago, Jae Reem would have the first birdie, the right to lefter. Up to 10 under at that point, share of the lead for maybe 45 seconds because this would happen immediately after that. Really focused, you could almost feel the nervous energy, but she's able to compartmentalize it and execute and take her to 11 under. Jae Reem needs that to keep on rolling. She is at risk of dropping out of sole possession of second. That expression says as much. Really, can you believe that? Now in Sunju. A bit of exasperation from the gallery. Her thoughts, no doubt, going a mile a minute. Just trying to stay as patient as possible, knowing it's just about time for her coronation. Jung last year won this event with an 11 under. That could be the championship clinching score once again here at the High1 Resort. Will be tied for the second best. Yu So-yeon had that in 2015. Paisanu, although it was a 3-rounder back in 2018, also an 11 under par. But no doubt, the most incredible performance this tournament has ever seen was Jung in 2019, the year before the pandemic. 68, 66, 66. So good that she shot 3 over in the final round and was still able to win. Well, she could clinch it here. Just needs to get it close. 11.3 meters. Won't put the cart before the horse, though, if it's not close enough. Playoffs aren't impossible. But no, that's the mark of somebody who is ready to take the big leap in their career. She will mark off, everyone else will finish, and allow her the privilege of the moment that she has been dreaming of, no doubt, since she was just a little girl. How she keeps her composure, contains the emotion. And Sunju. With the exception of this final round, she will be feeling much more confident, I'm sure, about making the cut at next week's major. She had missed it at the 36th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship. Tied for 42nd of the Chris FNC 44th KLPGA Championship. And while it's not one that she'll look back too fondly of, at least in the final round on Sunju, it will still be a top 10 finish. Oh, so close, Che Reem. That would have been for sole possession of T2. She'll be sharing it with Yu Hei-ran, a 70 to finish the tournament in 279 strokes. The veteran inside the top 10 again. Good to see. But this is what it is all about. The first win of her career. And an incredible final round on Sunday. 24-year-old An Sun, twice a winner on the Dream Tour, finally a winner on the LPGA Tour of Korea as she wins the High1 Resort Ladies Open 2022. Massive congratulations. Number one is right. So very well earned. A 68 after a 67 yesterday. What a weekend it was. She was almost in an afterthought, really, at the end of round two when you consider where the rest of the field had been. She was tied for 16th at the end of Friday. But this weekend, with the statue looming in the background, she was able to accomplish a career milestone, the first of what she will hope, will be many. She will head into the clubhouse, sign that scorecard. She is very warmly received, as she should be. And once everything is made official, we'll roll out the red carpet. And officially crown her for the first time in her career. This is a tournament that began back in 2008. So Hee Kyung was the initial winner. 2009, the first of two titles here for Yoo So-yeon. 2010, it belonged to Han Shin-ae. We'd go on a 3-year hiatus, but when we came back in 2014, it was Chun Yunji who was the victor. The round of 12 under par, Yoo So-yeon 2015, Kim Ye-jin 2016, Jung-un 6 in 2017, Bae Sun-woo 2018, back-to-back titles 2019, 2021, Jung, and now at 24 years of age, Han Sun, a champion at long last here on tour.
최어린번호 353570 맞으시죠?
70? 네.
네, 수고하셨습니다.
고맙습니다.
Well, unofficially, you can say this is when the tournament was won. After watching her groupmate convert on a birdie to put the pressure on, just one hole after that club let her down on 16. Comes up with a redemption level birdie and then needed 2 putts to finish off the tournament, nearly holed out for a birdie. And the crowning of a new champion. And anytime it's somebody's first, the field usually sticks around a little bit longer to welcome her. Hard to believe that we're now through 19 events on the season, and those are the players who would win this event as their first ever title. We just ran through the list. 2016, Kim Ye-jin, of course, winning her inaugural maiden championship. 2019, Imi Jung would win her first here. now can add her name to the list of winners in 2022. Chang Soo-yeon won the first event of the season, the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. Then Park Ji-young would win event number 2, the Mediheal Hangugabo Championship. Yoo-hae Ran, the next in St. Nine Masters. Kim Ha-rim, the first major of the season. And now she will do her championship winning interview before the awards ceremony officially begins. We'll listen in now. And now as we wait for the preparations to be completed on the 18th green, let's run back the highlights of this fourth and final round. Some of these we will be seeing again, but they were such nice shots that it's worth a second and third look. Of course, the tee shot on the par 3, 6 for Han-Chin Sun, her first birdie of the day. Then over to 8, also on the par 3. This was Chun Yunji playing 7-iron on the 141-meter hole. Drops that in expertly. Just 3 meters, maybe even inside that as she finishes off. This was Yoo-hae Ran. Little left to right. That would also go down on 8 for a second birdie in just a small portion of holes. And Sun Ju through 7 was still our leader. Unfortunately, though, the wheels, well, they did fall off for her. That was a missed par that would end up in a bogey. And then more magic on the par 3s that were playing. Very generous today, no doubt about it. maybe the best of the lot on 8 and as close as we'd come to an ace. Her second 3 holes as well. On to 9 from the rough. This was one of the first shots that our portion of the broadcast had seen of the day, and we started with a pretty incredible shot. Slight downhill and secured at the end. A nice finish to the front 9. Then on 11, Che Reem at this point in the round, a co-leader. Just a short tap in to take the outright lead. Unfortunately, though, for her, it would be short-lived. Yuhei Ran, she was on the charge all day long. And Shin Sun was more than willing to keep pace. One of her longest birdies of the day, one of the most impressive as well. We go to 14. Speaking of long birdies, the effort from up the hill to go back-to-back 13 and 14 onto 16. Yuhei Ren's 6-iron on the par 3. Slightly beneath the pin, would kick over to straighten it up a little bit, would tap in for what would end up being her final birdie of the day. Final birdie of the day also for Che Reem. Would take her to 10 under. An impressive putt that was, and then Han Shin Sun. A chance to have her 5th at the 16th. Wouldn't come off, but mentally resets and would record it there. It would set her up in a good position to just need a par, which is exactly what she had done. Could have bogeyed as Che Reem bogeyed the last to make it a 2-stroke win. And now, ready to present our first-time champion. Down to the green we go.
먼저 우승 자켓을 한진선 선수에게 수여하겠습니다. 네, 하이원 리조트 여자 오픈 2022 우승자 한진선 선수에게 수여가 되고요. 다음은 우승을 축하하는 축하 꽃다발까지 전달이 되겠습니다. 네, 많은 박수 보내주시죠. 시상해주신 한국여자 프로골프협회 김순미 수석부회장님과 한진선 우승자 간의 기념사진 촬영이 있겠습니다. 네, 다음은 하이원 리조트 이상걸 대표이사님께서 우승 트로피 및 우승 상금 1억 4,400만 원을 수여해 주시겠습니다. 자, 먼저 영광의 트로피를 대표이사님께서 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 많은 박수 보내주시죠. 이어서 우승 상금 1억 4,400만 원이 수여되겠습니다. 네, 시상권회가 전달이 됐고요. 축하해주신 하이원 리조트 이상걸 대표이사님 그리고 우승자 간의 기념사진 촬영이 진행되겠습니다. 네, 그리고 시상해주신 내빈분들 김순미 수석부회장님과 이상걸 대표이사님 그리고 우승자와 함께 다시 한번 기념사진 촬영을 진행하겠습니다.
자, 앞에 보세요. 자, 전화했습니다. 트로피 조금만 내리세요. 네, 됐어요. 됐습니다. 자, 앞에 보세요. 자, 하나.
자, 세계 첫 승을 거둔 한진선 선수. 네, 트로피가 전달이 됐고요.
Well, photographs and memories to last a lifetime, I am sure. The fireworks, by the way, a very nice touch. I think she was Caught slightly off guard by them, but it adds a little bit more pizzazz to the celebrations. That is the final leaderboard. Han Sun, our winner by 2 strokes with a round of 68 to finish the tournament at 11 under, just as Im Hee-jung had done last year. Yuhei Ranche Reem tied for second at 9 under. Kim Tsuji fourth at 8 under. Chun Yunji fifth at 7 under. 2 players tied at 6 under par. And that completes the first page. An Sunju, she goes 5 under, a 77 in the final round, drops her into a tie for 8th position. And a couple of rookies doing very well today as well, EA1 and Ko Chi-u. Well, that wraps it up for us. What a week it has been at the High1 Resort. We've seen a little bit of everything in terms of weather and just about everything in terms of shots and scores, with the exception of a hole-in-one. But hey, still a fantastic celebration and exhibition of golf. We're going to take the rest of the week off and then prepare for the third major of the year at Jade Palace. It gets underway on Thursday. The Hanwha Classic is next. 1.4 billion won is up for grabs, and an elusive title that so few can claim that they have won. Lee Dae-yeon will be out trying to defend her championship, and we have a new winner at the end of this week. Up in the mountains, where we completed event 19 of 34 on the season. From Gohan-ri here in the Gangwon-do province, High1 Resort, what a host it has been once again. The 11th playing of this tournament ended with a scintillating finish, and our winner, Han Sun. Congratulations to her, and thank you to you, the viewer. Of course, without you, there would be no broadcast, so we appreciate your viewership, and we hope to have you back on Thursday for the Hanwha Classic. For our entire SBS Golf and Spot crews, I've been Adam Jenkins, signing off from my studios here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, bidding you a fantastic start to your week and a quick return on Thursday for the Hanwha Classic. So long for now, take good care, and we will see you on Thursday.